I was married at one time. I was married a man by the name of Herb Fishberg. We got married on September 24th, 1988. Um, Even though I was like 35 at the time, I was still kind of rather immature because of the way I was brought up. Anyway, but because we didn't know, we shouldn't have gotten married that fast because we didn't know each other for a very long time when we got married. When we did get married, I don't think we even knew each other for 6 months, but we were like infatuated with each other. But anyway, Herb's a good man, but it's like we probably weren't the best of matches. Anyway, uh, it's like I was going to talk about, he had like a franchise of a place, a company called Selectra Date, which was, computer dating service. And back then, people would join these things. It's like most people didn't have computers or anything at that time, and but they wanted to meet new people and get, and the man that owned it, and I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but he lived in Florida, if I remember right, and so it's like Herb had the Los Angeles County, you know, franchise. He would give him like a small portion of his proceeds and stuff. And basically, what Herb would do is he would go around and he would drive around a lot, all over LA County. Actually, he went into Orange County too, and he would put out like, these little. You used to see him more in stores and liquor stores, little restaurants, individually. It's like, hey, can I leave this here? And it'd be a little box with some basically little folders, like pamphlets, and to select or date, and people would take one and look at it, and they'd either throw it out or they'd it's like if they're interested, or they fill it out and send it in with the fee. It wasn't a lot of money. And then he would take them, and supposedly he submitted them to the guy that owned the business in Florida, and then they would kind of do a matchup, to see who was best match for each other. And then when it's it, and then he'd get it back, and they'd send them to him, and then they like meet and so on. The man that owned the business passed away in an odd way. He, and unfortunate. If you learn anything from this, it's like this is more dangerous than people think it is. It's like he had, I think he was in some kind of complex or something, and he had like, it's like they weren't allowed to work on their cars, in the garage and stuff. But he would work on the car in the garage. But what he would do is like he'd attach something to the hose or something to the exhaust, and then run it out the garage door and stuff. Well, one time apparently it fell off or something, and he died from the fumes from the exhaust, and which is really sad, awful way to go. Anyway, at that point, it's like he wasn't submitting stuff anymore to the Selectra Date office. It's like, and so what he did is I said, why don't you just you just keep doing Selector Date, but you don't necessarily have to do that. It's like, well, you just sit there and you don't need a computer. Supposedly, I don't even know if he was using one. It's like you just sit there and you go through all of them, and you match up the people who you think would be matched up, and then they could meet and stuff. You don't have to do that. So he started doing that. The reason I'm talking about this is like we actually started like a little business together. It's like it was like an offshoot. We actually met through something called Herb and I met something through the Yes Network, which was Young Executive Singles. That's how we met. They would have functions. They'd have like get-togethers and so on. So they have it at like like a restaurant or something, and bar on a not so busy night. So they'd take over that area, and then people would meet each other and stuff. And actually over the it's like there was a couple of businesses that did that. The Yes Network, and there was at least one other that did it. And we would go and we'd meet different people and so on, and then go on a date if we got along well. We'd go on a date or something, and so it was a really great, at that time, it was a really great way to meet people. It was a good idea. So we decided to do like a spin-off of that, and we called it, I think I gave it the name called City Singles, and we came up with a logo. I think I actually came up with the logo. on it. It was like buildings and stuff, so it's called City Singles. And we started doing having events at, like, we'd go and we'd do like it's like set aside some time at a certain restaurant and do so we could come in and do that. It's like it's like we let the members that were in the Selectra Date system know about it, and so we would get people that way. We'd also hand out flyers and stuff, and so that people would come to it. And it's like it was, and then we also had to hire a DJ or something like that, so there'd be music and stuff in the venue. We would, and it was somewhat successful, but not that successful. And of course, the Yes Network was not happy with us either. So, but it lasted a while, but it's like eventually it went. It's like we folded it up because it's like we weren't really making enough money off of it. So. But he kept doing that, and then he started, I don't know if it was before we split up or after, he started selling like advertising and stuff. So he got into some other sales type job that was, could make money and stuff, because by then, the whole computer thing, people were starting to get their own computers and stuff, and they didn't need some computer dating service, not like that anyway, not like the modern ones where you do it online and stuff. We didn't get into that. So I just wanted to know, but it was that was my stint with City Singles.